Hello everyone. Today's we will study about the next topic in endocrine system, that is a pituitary glands is a master gland. In annual theory exams, the one questions asking in last 3 to 4 years, that is the justify pituitary gland is a master gland. So this is the questions. Then today we are going to start why pituitary gland is known as the master endocrine glands. So let's start. First, pituitary glands, it consists of two lobes, then locations of the pituitary glands in the brain. Then it consists of two lobes, that is the anterior lobe first, and second is the posterior lobes. Already we have studied about pituitary glands and their secretions of hormones, and their each and every hormones consist of some functions. Then next, anterior lobes and then posterior lobe. Then anterior lobes release there some hormones, that is a prolactin, growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormones, follicle stimulating hormones, and then luteinizing hormones. These are hormones released from the anterior lobes of the pituitary gland. Then posterior glands, it releases two hormones, that is one is the oxytocin hormones and second one is the antidiuretics hormones, is also called as the vasopressins. So these are the hormones secreted from their pituitary lobes or pituitary gland lobes, that is the anterior lobe and then posterior lobe. Then start first one by one, that is a growth hormones. First, growth hormones released from the anterior lobes of the pituitary glands. Then in these hormones, what is the function of this hormone? It stimulates the growth directly and in conjugations with their other glands. Means it regulates or it controls or it stimulated the growth hormones with helps for the regulations of a growth of particular or development of the cells, tissues, and their bodies. Then with the help of other hormones, that is thyroid gland hormones, then hypothalamus glands. So these two glands also help for the growth hormones. The next, thyroid stimulating hormones. These hormones, it controls the growth and activity of a thyroid glands. Means thyroid stimulating hormones, it releases from the pituitary glands. After there will be it releases from the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus receive the detector, and this hypothalamus releasing the hormones to the anterior lobes of the pituitary gland, and this anterior lobes of the pituitary gland, it releases the thyroid stimulating hormones, and this thyroid stimulating hormone, it stimulate the thyroid glands, and after the stimulations of a thyroid gland it receive the iodine, and after the absorptions of iodine from the body, and after the absorptions of iodine from thyroid gland, and it releases the hormones, that is a thyroxine, and these hormones increase the concentrations of a thyroxine hormone inside the body or inside the blood. Then it helps for the food metabolism, and after the metabolism it converted into the energy. So the thyroid stimulating hormones, it controls the growth and activity of a thyroid gland. Then next, adrenocorticotropic hormone, that is ACTH, it also releases from the anterior lobes. Then it stimulates the cortex of a adrenal gland to produce their hormones. Then it releases three hormones, aldosterone, then cortisol, and then androgens. So adrenocorticotropic hormone, it releases the three hormones. Then next, gonadotropic hormones. Now gonadotropic hormones, the decrease the in menstrual cycle, decrease the level of estrogen and progesterone. Once the decrease the level of estrogen and progesterone, send the positive feedback to the hypothalamus and the gonadotropes. Then this hypothalamus and gonadotropes receive the positive feedback mechanism, and after the receiving of this positive feedback, then it stimulate or it release the hormones to the pituitary anterior lobes of the pituitary gland, and these anterior lobes of the pituitary glands to release the gonadotropic releasing hormones, follicle stimulating hormones, and luteinizing hormones. So these two hormones, follicle stimulating hormones and luteinizing hormones, so these two hormones released from the gonadotropes hormones. Then what is the functions of follicle stimulating hormones and luteinizing hormone? The main functions of follicle stimulating hormones and luteinizing hormones, it particular, that is a follicles maturations or maturations of the follicles. Means it is the side for the immature follicles, they get matured after the releasing of a follicle stimulating hormones and luteinizing hormone. Then study one by one what is follicle stimulating hormones and the main functions of follicle stimulating hormones in both the male and female. In female, it stimulates the ovarian follicles, means the immature follicles is one of the sac like structure present inside the female or specific in the ovaries. Then this sac like structure, it consists of some fluid, and in this fluid the development or growth of the immature follicles before the puberty periods. Then after the puberty, the follicles become it converted into the maturations. Then after the maturations, then it is the ovulations, and after the ovulation it releases the oocytes. So at this point the immature follicles become converted into the mature follicles, and this is also called as a Graafian follicle. Graafian follicles is one of the mature follicles, and to produce the mature ovumes is nothing but the eggs or particular releases from the egg or oocytes from the female, and then secretions of the estrogen by ovaries. Then secretions of the estrogen secretions during the Graafian follicle stage, means during the menstrual cycle, when at the day of 13 the Graafian follicles is completely matures. Then it after the maturations, the Graafian follicles covers with the some layers or membranes, internal layers or the external layer. So the medullary part of the ovaries, it releases some or it transfers some cell towards the ovaries, towards the Graafian follicles, and these cells make the layer on the Graafian follicles, mature follicles. Then interna, theca interna and theca externa, means on Graafian follicles there formations of a three layer. So internal layer is a theca interna and outer layer is a theca externa. So this internal layer, theca interna, it helps for the releasing of the estrogen hormones. So this is the estrogen hormones releasing during this Graafian follicles or mature follicles at the day of 13th before ovulations process. Then in male, it stimulates the formations of the spermatozoa in testes, means increase the formations of the sperm. Then next, luteinizing hormones in female, it stimulates the corpus luteum and to produce the progesterone. Luteinizing hormones is one of the hormones when increase the concentrations of a luteinizing hormones during the menstrual cycle or at the day of a 14, means menstrual cycle day of a 14, the increase the concentration of a luteinizing hormone, and this concentration of luteinizing hormones, it help for the ovulation process. What is the ovulation process? The ovulation process in which the Graafian follicles releases the oocytes from the follicle cells, and these oocytes transfer from ovaries to the fallopian tubes, and these oocytes come with the or meeting with the or fertilize with the sperm, and then to form the particular zygotes. Then this luteinizing hormone, the remaining part or whatever remaining left behind the Graafian follicles or mature follicles, then it become converted into the corpus luteum. After there is a formations of a corpus luteum, the corpus luteum, it helps for the release or it secretes the hormones, that is the progesterone hormones during the corpus luteum formations. Then the corpus luteum formations, next 14 days it continuously release of a progesterone hormones. Then the period between the time between the corpus luteums and then corpus albicans, the particular, if there is a fertilizations during this period, the fertilizations between the female eggs and male sperm, then there is a this corpus luteum, it survive for the next month up to the delivery, and then increase the size of corpus luteum. Then this corpus luteum, if there is no fertilization, this corpus luteum is a degenerated, and then it degeneration and it converted into the corpus albicans, and this corpus albicans, it stop the formations or secretions of the progesterone and estrogen. Then again menstrual cycles will start continuous from first phase. Then in males, it stimulates the interstitial cells to produce the testosterone hormones. Then next, prolactin, it has direct effect on the mammary glands present inside the breast of a females. Then this memory glands, and with the help of oxytocin hormones it stimulate the memory glands and to secretes the milk. Means stimulations of a mammary gland is an exocrine glands in human or specific in both the males and females, but it produce in female it produce milk to feed young offspring. Then locations of the mammary gland in the breast of a female, but why memory how in which step mammary glands produce the formations or secretions of the milk when after the puberty, means after the sexual maturations or maturity. After the sexual maturity, the mammary glands in female it become a develop slowly, it develop or growth with the help of estrogen hormones releasing. Then due to this estrogen hormones releasing, the mammary gland secretes the milk and to feed the young offspring. Then next, that is a posterior lobe. Posterior lobe, that is a two hormones releases, that is a oxytocin and one is the antidiuretic hormone. So oxytocin it increase the contractions of a uterus during the labor and the to bring the about parturitions, means birth of a baby. Then ejections of a milk from the breast, means during the labor period or during the pregnancy conditions or during the childbirth, the contractions of a uterus with the help of these oxytocin hormones releases from the posterior lobes of the pituitary gland. Then next is the vasopressin, that is the antidiuretic hormones. This vasopressin that decrease the urine output and increase the blood pressures. When once they decrease the formations of a urine inside the urinary ducts or urinary collecting tubules or glomerular filtrations, when it excess amount of a sodium ion concentration or sodium ions absorbed inside the particular nephrons, then due to the excess amount of a sodium ion concentration inside the nephron, that is it helps or it causes the decrease the formations of a urine inside the collecting ducts or collecting tubes, and due to the excess amount of a sodium ion concentration inside the body, it causes the increase the blood pressure in the hyper conditions. Then the pituitary gland is the main glands of the endocrine system because it produces the hormones that controls the many functions of other endocrine glands, and each hormones which regulates the activity of the organs and then tissue. So that's why the pituitary glands is a master glands of the endocrine. So this is a very very important questions on the basis or on the exam point of view, justify the pituitary gland as a master glands. So I hope all are understand. If any doubts in any points or they can easily or they can ask me freely anytime. So thank you so much.